Hello, good people. We're here once again with our Eight Dimensions of Wellness series. And today we're talking about,
Creating Money Smart Kids.
and I am Pamela Robinson Smith, and you are.
Kyrie Smith McCall.
And so we're going to dive into financial wellness.
Now, the table of contents for this episode include FYI for your information, the value of hard work, give, save, and spend, investing is child's play, budgeting for fun things, other ways to teach kids about money, teaching resources, and our conclusion.
So, this episode is really good because we don't often teach our kids the ins and outs of money, how to spend it, how to save it. So, I'm looking forward to this episode.
Yes. First up is for your information. The Eight Dimensions of Wellness is Dr. Peggy Swarbrick, a professor from Rutgers University. This is her model to help individuals make the best choices for living a balanced life. This is our interpretation of her model. We also will be discussing the article Money Savvy Kids Don't Grow on Trees, an article done by an individual by the name of Tony Husbands.
Yes, and so the eight dimensions of wellness includes occupational, social, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, physical, environmental, and today's topic, financial. So there is value in hard work. There are various ways in which we can help foster financial literacy in our children.
Examples of that include kids earning money because of good grades. It teaches them how to connect other skills. Also including it is assigning chores with a monetary reward at the conclusion.
Both such ways are seed planters within children when it comes to earning money by ways of different tasks. I think it also helps them to appreciate that money doesn't grow on trees, right?
Yes, and it also definitely plants the seeds for working for what you want, especially when you're a kid. So when it's time to go into the workforce, you have that seed that was planted, and so you can be able to function in it. As opposed to if you haven't had it, when you enter this world, it'll definitely be harder for you to adjust and transition into this new environment.
Yes. So it's preparing them for adult life and a healthy financial literacy.
The next section we'll be discussing is called Give, Save, and Spend. With the receipt of money, it's best to break it down into three categories: give, save, and spend. The best way to do it is have a pie and have it broken down into four categories: 10% giving, 10% saving, 5% spending, and 75% investing.
Another ideal thing to do with your kids is to open a bank account that has no monthly fees and a debit card for your kids. I think nowadays, I think back to when you were young, they didn't really promote that a lot, but now I see a lot of commercials of kids having these bank accounts and it gives them like alerts on their phone
Yes.
whenever they spend, and it helps them to understand money. Like if you have no money in there, you can't use the debit card, right?
Yes, and I remember when I was younger, something I saw some ads that you don't really see it anymore. Remember the bank, Valley National Bank. I remember a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them. They used to have kids involved in it, basically basically having them involved and setting them up, self up, and being more money conscious.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want them to love money so much that it becomes evil, but we want them to understand it enough that when they do get, say, money from your grandma or your auntie for your birthday, the first thing, you don't want the first thing that they want to do is spend it. They want to break down the concept. Okay, we're going to save 10%, we're going to give 10%, we'll spend 5%, and then when they get older and understand what investing means, we can talk about that.
Yes, and also we'll also make better financial choices, which as we get further on, we'll delve deeper and we spell the knowledge for you.
Right, exactly.
Now we'll be discussing investing as child's play. To help with this experience, allow your kids to pick companies or products they use regularly as potential investments. Also, make sure to research factors such as price to earnings ratio, as well as earnings per share to determine an ideal investment.
Deposit investment money into an index fund and allow them to purchase a few single stocks. Look at the portfolio several times a year to either invest more or make other choices. So when I think about companies that a kid might want to invest in, I think of companies like Disney. And one of your favorite TV stations back when you were a kid was what?
Nickelodeon.
Yes. And so I think that will make the kids more excited if they know the company and it make it easier for them to understand that, okay, we're gonna purchase a few stocks here and there. You know what type of company it is. You want to invest in something that you are believing in or passionate about, that are doing some positive things, and that's advice for an adult, not just for kids.
Yes, I mean, so let's say even for an adult, let's say if you use a lot of streaming services, like for example Netflix, you watch Netflix, the less you can do is maybe buy a stock in Netflix and see where that can go with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think this episode, I know that it's focused on teaching kids, but the information that we're sharing in a more simplistic way, because it's for kids, is applicable for adults as well.
Exactly. Now let's do something talking about fun, which is budgeting for fun stuff. When it comes to buying expensive items such as a video game console, there are two options you can do. Save up money for the new one, or buy a used version for a reduced price. It helps plant the seed of cost and environmental consciousness.
If you're buying an expensive item, such as a laptop, the best time to buy it is when it's on sale.
It's also important to have both a spending and a savings account to help distinguish wants and needs.
So I always think back to when you were little and we used to go to the store, and in the beginning, you used, like most kids, you would pick up something like, Mommy, I want this, Mama, I want that. And sometimes I would say to you, that's too expensive. And so you would get to a point as you got older, and you were smart. You would pick it up and say, Mama, is this too expensive? So do you think that was a good lesson for me to teach you?
Yes, exactly. It definitely makes you conscious at an early age. It just lets you know that it's something that's reasonable. You'll ask them, is this a good reasonable price, and then you can say either yes or no, and then we can just make a decision what we're going to do.
And the funny thing about you is you had gotten to a point you didn't pick up everything. You were very particular. I think it also made you think more deeply about the toys, games, or whatever that you really wanted, instead of just picking up everything you just saw. So I think we have to give our kids guidelines so they can say, okay, what's reasonable, what's affordable.
Yes, and also I wanted to, something that I've mentioned to you off mic, something, the section where it says about buying something when it's on sale. I wanted to mention that there is a website where you can take online courses. It's called Udemy, and one of the things that they could do, they have sales on certain courses. So let's say, for example, let's say if a course you want to take, it costs $80. One thing they do is that they do sales for it, and sometimes it would be best, instead of paying the $80, wait till it goes on sale. Maybe it will be like $10, $15, and you can get the same course, so you can get it for a significantly reduced price instead of having to pay the whole amount.
Right, and that's with anything, courses, computers, gaming systems. So teaching your kids that just because they may want it right out the gate, they need to think about, okay, I have this much money, or my mom or my dad has this much money. Can we afford that? And is getting a used version, a refurbished version, just as good as getting a new version? A lot of times it is.
And now we're almost at the finish line, but now we're like the grand finale, other ways to teach kids about money. Jennifer Seats, the Director of Education at Greenlight, explains ways to create financial aware children that include being a parent who is open to questions regarding money, having a mindful money model, including children in appropriate money-related discussions, helping to set and stick to savings goals, inclusion in budgeting for family-oriented decisions, and teaching delayed gratification.
Teaching delayed gratification. We kind of talked about that, right?
Yes.
Like, not instant. I want this, mommy, and here.
Or as I like to call it, the Veruca Salt mindset from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I want it now.
I want it now. I think it's important. Those lessons are important because they do shape who you become as an adult. In addition, some teaching resources that this article offered were books like The Opposite of Spoiled, Raising Kids Who Are Grounded, Generous, and Smart About Money. That's by Ron Lieber. Also, there are board games like Monopoly Junior that you can use, and apps that Greenlight offers one called Level Up. It's all about making money not so scary. It talked about including them in money-related discussions about that impact the family. So, like, discussions about budget that I have with you now would not be the same discussion I had with you when you were 18 or 10. So it needs to be age appropriate. Because I one thing I always be concerned about, you don't want to have your kids worried about money issues, right? You need to keep them aware about money, but you don't want to put too much on them to burden them, because there's nothing they can do about it. They're kids, right?
Yes.
We're the parents and we're supposed to be providing for them. So keeping them involved in the decisions that they can learn from and use later on in life is important.
And now here is our conclusion and our final thoughts. There are many ways to teach about money topics. It's important to find the one that works for you. Teaching children one lesson at a time will certainly be beneficial in the long run, so keep moving. Plus, while teaching, don't be afraid to learn as well.
Didn't I say that earlier?
Yeah.
A lot of what we're talking about, I think that adults could benefit from. You know, we have for years through our own endeavors learned about financial literacy, having short-term savings, having long-term savings, and emergency savings, rainy day funds, right? So those conversations need to be continual. They're not like have the one conversation and that's it. I think it's something we need to talk about regularly because new information becomes available. I mean, like, there's things that I read articles about retirement, which when I was your age, I didn't really want to think about retirement. But my mother, your grandmother, taught me a lot about those things. Her twin sister taught her a lot about things. So it's something that we need to continue the conversations. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. So this conversation has been great. I love these because we're systematically going through the 8 dimensions of wellness, and money sometimes can be a sensitive topic that we don't always talk openly about. So I'm glad that we, you know, examined this article and that we're sharing what we learned with our audience.
Thank you for joining us with this episode today. I hope that it was informative and beneficial for you and that you could take it and use it in your long range future. And if you have any questions for us regarding anything, we have certain information that we can help contact us with.
Yes, you can always reach me, Pamela Robinson Smith, and you,
Khary Smith McCall,
at 833-72-RENEW, or visit our website at http://rain-bow-org, I should say. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, some people got to have it, right?
Yeah.
Money, money, money. God bless you. Take care.
Take care.